Hi, everybody. It's Susan Thornton, and welcome to our November Facebook Live program. It's been a while since I've been with you. It's really good to see y'all, and hope everybody's doing okay in these kinds of crazy times. But we're really thrilled to be with you in November. And tonight, we thought we'd do something a little bit different and share with you some of the updates about what we've been up to in the last year. Many of you have participated with us in our online events and the different programs, but we thought we would take a little bit of time on this Facebook Live to share with you what we've been doing. And then I also have two special guests with me this evening. I have Laurel Carlson, who is president of our board of directors, and David Elephant, who is our vice president of our board of directors. Welcome, David and Laurel.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Susan. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, we're spreading coast to coast. You know, David is in the San Francisco Bay Area, and Laurel's in the DC area, and I'm in Philadelphia. So we're kind of all over the country. So hopefully we've got folks joining us from coast to coast as well. So what I'd like to do first is just share with you some updates of what we've been doing and where we've been and what we have accomplished so far this year. And you know, a lot of you have shared with us that you would like to know a little bit more about the background of the foundation. You know, you all interact with us when we're doing our programs and engaging with us like on these kinds of things, but you don't always get to see the bigger picture. So we thought we'd put together some, okay. Mike, you're gonna have to move that because it's not working. There we go. So before we get started, I wanted to thank everyone who supports us and our sponsors, because without all of you, we can't do this work and we can't be effective in bringing you new programs and services and using new technologies. So wanted to take a minute to thank everybody for that. And just as a highlight, I should say. We have a lot more data behind all of this, but what we've been doing in 2020, and for those of you who have been with us, you know that in the spring, like everybody else, we had to flip all of our live programs to be virtual programs, and we actually asked you all what you wanted us to do. And so just to give you a quick synopsis of where we've been so far, we've done 12 educational webinars, and we've hosted our online networking groups, and we've expanded those to incorporate everybody who can participate. We've hosted 4 open Q&A answers from the experts. We're doing 4 panel discussions like this, and our Facebook Live events that we've continued. And then we flipped our annual conference to a virtual conference in September. So many of you may have joined us for that. But just to give you a synopsis of the programs that we've delivered, and just to let you know what some folks were saying about their perspective of their engagement with us. And, you know, the programs were informative, and it's nice to know I'm not alone. I really like all the places to get information. You know, we have so much information on the website and the downloads and the treatment center listing. So a lot of information right at your fingertips via our website. And folks were loving the Zoom format. Now, I'm guessing that maybe some of you might be a little tired of Zoom by now, but you know, it's a great being able to bring everybody together, and different kinds of technology platforms, I think is great. And if you participated with us in our 2-day virtual program, you know, we had the evening program where everybody was on the screen. It was so fun to see everybody, even if we couldn't be together in person. It still felt like we were sort of together through technology, right? And someone said they could really see each other, which I think was cool. And we did some breakouts and some small groups, and we're taking all of those learnings and incorporating them into our programs for 2021. And we're in the process of planning those, and we're looking at building our programs for 2021. So you'll be able to see on the website what those are coming up. And again, let us know what you think. Let us know what you want to see. Let us know what would be of most value to you, because you are why we do what we do and why we're here. But, in addition to these kinds of programs, things that you may not be aware of that we do, but 63,000 pieces of our publications were distributed around the world. That's our patient's guide. That's our treatment guide. All of those different things, we share them with the clinical treatment centers. People call us, they want information. So that's pretty amazing. 34,000 folks accessed our website. And we had, if you have been out there, we added a survey to ask people if they found what they were looking for. Was the site easy to navigate, so that we are able to take that feedback and make changes. And, it's been nice reflection to know that 95% of the people that did the survey found the site easy to navigate. And if you're out there and the little survey pops up, once in a while, let us know, take the survey so we can make those tweaks and changes, because that's how we know if what we're doing is working or not. And we've had a global reach. We're doing more, hopefully, in the future to reach our patients and families outside of North America. But, we've had participation from not only the US, but across in Europe, in Australia, Israel, the Philippines. So it's really wonderful to see that we're able to help people no matter where they live around the world. And we're looking forward to being able to do more of those kinds of things. And we're exploring other ways. Time zones are a challenge. So looking at ways that we might be able to do collaborative programs with partners in other parts of the world and different time zones and things like that to make it easier for people that are across time zones. And, we received over 800 individuals that reached out to us via email, via phone, that we actually engaged with one-on-one to have a conversation, to help people, kind of talk through what their questions were, or to digest some of the clinical information. And, again, I kind of go back to, there's 5 of us on the team, and we have a wonderful board of directors, but, just to give everybody an understanding of all the other things that happen behind the scenes that you may not be aware of. And this year, we were also able to give 4 $50,000 Catalyst research grants. So, and I just list the 4 researchers who were our award recipients. And as you may know or may not, depends on how knowledgeable or how involved you are in following research, but with COVID, a lot of the research labs had to shut down. And we worked with our researchers. They were not able to be in their labs doing their research. So we worked with them, and were offered everyone a 6-month extension. So they're able to now, as they've been able to get back in their labs and get things started again, we've given them that kind of grace period. But we're moving forward with those projects, and we'll have some updates from the researchers that we'll share with you later on, probably next year, when folks get back in the lab and get to do their work, and we have some responses. So, just a quick synopsis of the different things that we've been up to this year that you may or may not have been aware of or have an interest in. And we want to do a better job of letting you know what else we're doing. There's a ton of other things that we've been doing as well. I actually just participated in a call with the Haystack Project, which is an umbrella group that works specifically in the U.S. on policy for access and reimbursement. We are part of a lot of other rare disease groups, and we're looking at policies and things that have impact in the rare disease community, so that we can understand and even proactively try to make a difference in the policy arena. So, there's all these other things going on. We're happy to share all the stuff that we're doing, and look forward to more kinds of sharing of this kind of information as we go forward, and so that you all know what we're doing on your behalf. And we're hoping to find more ways to have you engage with us as well in these different areas. So just a quick synopsis. We might do this periodically throughout the year just to give you a sense of where we are, what we're doing, projects that we're working on. We've got a lot of things in the works. So we'll be able to update you periodically. And so I wanted to bring David and Laurel on. You all don't always get to meet everybody who's part of our board of directors, and you may have met Laurel and David along the way at one of our programs. They've both been engaged with the foundation for a long time. You know, I remember meeting David. I think it was one of my first education programs that was out in Palo Alto, and he volunteered to help us out with the registration table, and we kind of got connected there. But he's been involved for a very long time, when Judy way back in the day, and I know Laurel's been with us for a long time as well, and you know, helped start the networking groups and all different kinds of things. So we thought it would be a nice opportunity to kind of bring them into the mix, so you get to meet them a little bit, get to learn a little bit about them, and then have them share a little bit about their experience, and also why they are volunteering so graciously to be part of our board and to help us guide and direct and give us their very knowledgeable insights and advice on how to move the organization forward. So, you know, and I'm looking at my lineup here. So, but I'm going to kind of go to Laurel first because she is our board president. And so I'm kind of going to the far side of our screen here. And, you know, Laurel, I mean, you've been with us for a long time. And I know a lot of people, you've shared your story at many of our programs. And I know all of the crew in the DC networking group are very well acquainted with you. But maybe there's people that don't know, you know, or haven't met you, or maybe have seen your name, or they saw your byline, your article that you do in the Forum magazine. But, and of course, I didn't mention both David and Laurel are patients. So, you know, they bring the patient perspective. I will say, can I, well, I'll let you go and just share a little bit about, you know, why you kind of decided to volunteer. And then we kind of, you know, you just kind of grew with us, right? And now you're president of our board, and yeah, it's been great, and we're good partners and working for the greater good. So I'm going to be quiet for a minute and let you have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Susan. Yes, I was going to say, I really, that's, I guess what we all miss from not having the in-person events is the opportunity to meet and talk with everyone, because that was always my favorite part of the patient education events when I could attend, was meeting new people and sharing experiences. And so I really miss that. So this is kind of a, you know, a substitute, certainly, but I have been a patient, or I believe the first time I noticed the disease, I was in my early 20s. So that was a very, very long time ago. And I was diagnosed in 1983, no internet, very few people familiar with the disease. So, you know, a lot of similar experiences to a lot of patients I know. Then I'll fast forward to early 2000s when Judy Jones was developing, you know, the idea of a nonprofit that would help support our patients. And I met her through the listserv, met her in person in DC for a luncheon. But at the time, I had just gone back to work, and I still had 2 teenagers living at home. So I had no time for another large volunteer commitment. But I have been a volunteer all my life: church, school, community, Meals on Wheels, choir mom, you know, PTA president. I had done a lot of things, a lot of bake sales, a lot of silent auctions. And so in 2011, I did attend a local Patient Education Forum here in Washington. I guess it was 2010. And then at that point, I was feeling I don't know, just the calling, I guess, to try to do more for the disease. I had lived with it a very long time. I've been extremely fortunate to have always been able to keep my disease under control and live an altered but normal in some sense of the word life, and raised my two children. And my husband and I have had a very, very blessed life. So I did join the board in 2011, and I have to say I was immediately overwhelmed. I thought I'd really kind of bitten off more than I could chew. I had never been on part of an organization that was that large and that was trying to provide so much to so many people. So I definitely was challenged, and I definitely was motivated to do what I could. And my two the two things that I brought to the table were that, number one, I had never found a support group. I had never found another patient that had my disease other than on the listserv when I met Judy Jones. And I even at one point tried to attend a local women's cancer group and realized quite quickly that my cancer was so rare and so odd that no one in the room understood it, and I really felt out of place. So that was one thing that had always really stuck in the back of my mind, that how great it would be if somehow we could provide an opportunity for patients to meet with each other, to speak with each other, to share experiences. And the other thing that was kind of I guess a smaller part, but made me raise my voice a few times in meetings, although I wasn't always heard, and that is the fact that I grew up in a very remote rural area with almost no access to medical centers. When my father was diagnosed with cancer in 1984, he had to travel 3 hours to get to the closest major facility that could deal with his cancer. So I feel a very strong connection to our patients that do not live near a medical center or a treatment center, and the challenges that they have with getting their light treatments, getting diagnosis, getting to see other specialists, because often, it's not just the dermatologist or just the oncologist. In our cases, there may be other people that they need to see. So I have always hoped that there was a way we could reach more people, and I guess it took a pandemic to do that, because now we are reaching so many more people on so many more avenues. But of course, that's technology as well. We couldn't have done it with all the technology that we have available to us. So this is where this is how I guess I got to where I am today. I never expected to be president of the board. Like I said, in 2011, when I joined the board, I was kind of immediately overwhelmed. So I feel like I've grown with the foundation, and the foundation has certainly grown. I've been nothing but impressed. I mean, I'm not just saying it because I'm involved with it, because if I didn't believe so strongly in the work that we're doing and how many lives we have helped, I would not be here. I certainly would not be here. So I'm just very, very so happy to have had the opportunity to join the board, because, like I said, I've seen amazing things happen. Susan, you as our CEO, we're just always in awe. Like, how does she do it? How does she do so much? And the challenges that were thrown at us, and you especially, and the staff, with this pandemic. I know you were just, it was plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D on a continual basis, and when, David and I and the rest of us on the board were just kind of like, wow, that sounds awesome. That's great that you came up with that plan, because, we just, been fascinated. And of course, like you said, it helps to have the feedback. We really do need all of the input from the patients, because we are literally, just, I won't say flying by the seat of our pants. That's not a good term, but we are trying to reinvent ourselves. That's a better way of putting it. And every time, and last March, who thought, it was going to go this long, but it has,
Right.
and there's no end in sight. So we have to continually think ahead, 3 months, 6 months. This is what we're going to be having to do in the future. And we're just trying to really keep ourselves as relevant and as resourceful as we can to everyone. And so we do really welcome all the feedback, all the input that we get from everyone, because it's our goal. We really want to help everyone that's out there. So that's probably it.
Ha! Thanks, Laurel. And I will do a quick plug. So this is Laurel, through the pandemic, has taken on doing a really cool fundraiser for us in making masks. And she's so creative. She's got these I'm going to give to my mom and my aunt because they're grandmas, right? And they're fun to wear. And I just want to say thanks, Laurel, really for, your creativity and your willingness to share your creative sewing capacity, because I certainly would not, I'm not making masks myself, but I put my order in. And then, turning it into a fundraiser for the foundation is really, it was creative. We appreciate it. And I just wanted to give a little shout out. So if you want some masks and it's a really great way to support the foundation and get a really cool and fun mask. And she's got some great fabric and different things. And what I love, it's got the little, she's got the little things so you can make them fit your ears. And
yeah.
Yeah. She's done all different kinds of style.
I have other versions. I was going to say, I have another version that goes around the back of the head. It's good for people who wear hearing aids, so they don't rip their hearing aids off when they take off. Yeah.
See, very good. Excellent.
Well, good point.
I was going to say I was a special education teacher for years, so I'm into modifying and adjusting things so that it works.
Exactly. And I was also going to mention that Laurel comes to us as well with a deep experience in education and programs and things of that nature. So she brings that expertise to the board and really helps us look at the programs from a different angle, patient, but also from a professional perspective. So, it's wonderful to have her, and we're really grateful, really grateful. So I'm going to toss it over to David and to share a little bit about your experience and kind of what brought you over to participate with the foundation, because, you, like Laurel, volunteered early on, and then we kind of said, wow, this is a cool guy, and maybe he'd like to do a little more. And I think we kind of kept, every time I came to San Francisco, it would be like, David, are you around? Can we get together? What are you up to now? But you had a very busy professional practice. And anyway, I'm going to let you share a little bit. I won't steal all your thunder.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you. And a shout out to you, Laurel, for all the masks. They're great.
Oh.
So, hi, everybody. I'm happy to participate today. This is a great program. I am a longtime patient, a very long-time patient, and I'll tell you some of my history in a minute. And I'm very proud to be the newest member of the board. I joined in late 2018. I retired earlier this year, and for over 40 years, I was an estate planning attorney. I enjoyed it, but I figured 40 years was enough. Before I get into my history, I just want to say, I cannot say enough about Susan and Holly and Hillary and Deb and Sue, who run the foundation. They are dedicated, smart, efficient, clever, creative, all the adjectives like that. You guys do a fabulous job. It's just amazing what the five of you do. It truly is. And I'm honored to be on the board. And Laurel, we're really lucky to have you as our president. The board, it's an exceptionally qualified and dedicated group of people who volunteer their time and their expertise. And, for those of you that aren't familiar with the staff and the board, you might want to read some more on the website. Now, my story is similar to Laurel's. I was first diagnosed in the early 1980s. And when I received the diagnosis, the word cancer and lymphoma, it's scary. And at that time, in the mid-80s, there was no foundation, there was no internet, there was no good source of information. As Laurel said, this is such an unusual and a rare disease. It was really hard to find any good information. And I didn't understand what was happening to me. Cutaneous lymphomas are very different from other types of lymphomas. And so much of the information that was out there simply isn't relevant to patients with cutaneous lymphoma. Now, of course, we have fantastic resources, thanks in very large part to our foundation. So my story, briefly, and it goes back many, many years. When I was a teenager, eons ago, I had what looked like patches of very dry skin that never went away. As Susan mentioned, I live in the San Francisco area, and that's where I was raised. And my parents took me to a number of dermatologists, and nobody really knew what was going on. The consensus was I had something called parapsoriasis, but I think that was a term they used because they didn't know what else to call it. It really didn't bother me. It itched a little bit. It made me very self-conscious. That was probably how it bothered me the worst. I tried a lot of different creams and a lot of different ointments. None really helped. And when I was 15 or so, I saw this one dermatologist who I remember very well. At the time, I had two large patches on the top of the front of my legs. And the doctor asked me if I ever put my hands in my pants pockets, and if I did, I should stop doing it and it might go away. Now, how's that for an amazing conclusion? I know, it's just amazing. Eventually, in my late 20s, early 30s, it started acting up again. And I tried Puva, which was very helpful, but it helped only for a while. Over the years, I've tried various treatments, mostly topical treatments, topical steroids. Some worked, some didn't. I was finally formally diagnosed in the mid-1980s by a dermatologist associated with the University of California in San Francisco, which is a leading research center, which also shows the need for each of us to work with a dermatologist who is familiar with cutaneous lymphoma, because not all dermatologists are. So right now, things are fairly stable. I have a doctor who's very experienced with cutaneous lymphomas. I'm currently at stage 1A, and I'm treating it with topical steroids. Last year, I had a couple of doses of radiation on some particularly stubborn plaques, but the radiation took care of it, and it's fine now. So as Laurel, I consider myself very lucky as well. My disease is very manageable. I've been in stage 1A for many, many years and expect to stay there. One other thing I wanted to say is I used to be very private about this. I didn't want to talk to anybody about it. Now, being on the board and doing programs like this, obviously I'm very open about it. But I think part of the reason I was so private and didn't want to talk about it was that there was no information about it, in the early 80s, and I didn't understand it. And if I didn't understand it, I didn't want to tell people about it. But now with the foundation, patients have tremendous access to information, to education, to support, and research. And for anyone not familiar with the Foundation's website, it's fabulous. It is full of information. Be sure to check it out. There's also wonderful publications, as Susan mentioned, a new online community. There's just excellent educational programs. They're all virtual now. There was one last Friday, early stage disease, which I found every time I attend one of these, I learn something. It was a fabulous program. So there's so many different ways to learn and become informed. Now, one of the things that I want to bring to the board is my estate planning experience, and I want to help encourage donations to the foundation. Individual giving is so very important, and it provides the resources that enable the foundation to do its important work. And, there's only one organization devoted exclusively to cutaneous lymphoma, and this is it. It's just the one. Now, in future editions of the form, the publication that Susan mentioned, I'm going to write just some short articles talking about estate planning and suggesting different ways that people can make donations. These are challenging and difficult times. They're hard for all of us. But now more than ever, it's important to support the Cutaneous Lymphoma Foundation. So whatever support you can give would be deeply appreciated. If you have any questions at all about how to make a donation or different types of donations or how to do it tax efficiently, contact us through the foundation. They can put you in touch with me. I can't give you legal advice, but I can give you some general advice that you can talk to your attorney or your CPA about. So anyway, thank you. I'll pass it back to Susan.
Great. Thank you, David. And I so appreciate that. And I didn't pay any of either David or Laurel extra money to give all those lovely accolades to to all of us
But
on the
true.
staff. But we really do appreciate it. And I think, from my perspective, we are like this big family. At least that's how I view it. And we're all part of, we didn't necessarily want to be part of this family. It wasn't our choice, but here we are. And I think it's all of us together. We at the staff level certainly don't have all the answers or know how to do things the best. We need all of you to help us figure out what's the right thing. What do you need? What's most important? And, David brought up, I forgot to mention, which I should have, we launched the new online peer-to-peer private password protected community this summer, as a, not to replace the private Facebook groups or any of those kinds of things, but a place where you can come and engage with other people. We're building a whole knowledge base as part of that. And we're going to look to do some special programming for the folks that are in the community. So I welcome you to join us there as well and participate and share your experiences, because as I think, we've all learned that it's so helpful to someone else, that may be going through, they're just newly diagnosed and it's overwhelming, and to be able to connect with somebody else or to hear from somebody else or learn about someone else's experience is comforting and can really help you wrap your head around it, because it does take a while. So I really appreciate, David's helped us along the way with a couple of projects with estate gifts that have allowed us to provide research grants, which has been really wonderful and something that we hope to be able to expand and grow. But, it just takes a little money. But anyway, I really thank you, Laurel and David. I really appreciate you joining us tonight. And I know our time is up. I don't know, Hillary, if we have, or Mike, if we have any questions or any comments, if anybody had dropped anything in the chat. I don't want to finish up without addressing any questions or things that people may have. Laurel, where can you buy the masks? Yes.
Oh my goodness. Can I put something on the community connection? Can I maybe put a link or an address?
Yeah.
That's what I'll do. I will.
Yeah, that's a good place.
Okay, I will do that. And that particular one that Susan had, I have some more of that fabric coming. It was very popular. I also, and I thought of having one and then I didn't. I ordered, there's a company where you can design fabric. They have designers. I mean, you don't design, but you work with a designer. And I wanted something for cancer. And I didn't want ribbons, and I was kind of avoid the word survivor. So I'm using the term, and I think some people will relate to it and some people may not, but I just had to kind of go with it. I came up with that I wanted the fabric to say "Cancer sucks," because that is on some of the you can buy on Etsy. There's a few things that say that on it, and it was about as I should like a nondescript in terms of, it can pertain to any cancer, because I'm sure many of you, like myself, know many people that have many different types of cancer. Ours is one of a huge number of them. So that is another fabric that I'm going to start making. And I did want to turn that into a fundraiser for the foundation specifically. I just hadn't figured out how to do that yet. So I am going to be having some other fabrics, and some are cancer specific. And then I have the grandmother one, and then I had done Dr. Fauci was very popular. I did several Dr. Fauci ones, and some Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and those have also been popular. And then let me see, I've got some other little cute ones or whatever. So if I can put something up on the community connection and people can check that, we can do it. And it just, I'm sewing as quickly as I can, but I was overwhelmed by the number of orders that I got just from that one. And so I just say my husband knows where to find me now. I'm in the room sewing. The dog
So we
and the
don't want
dog
to
sits right
overwhelm
next to
you.
me. She's my guard. Yes. But I will share that.
Well,
Thank you very much for
Laurel.
your interest.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. All righty. Was there anything else, Mike, before we sign off? That's no. All right, just wanted to share what's coming up next for the next couple of programs. Mike, if you could throw that slide up here so folks can see what our, there we go. Yay. So December 7th, we're going to talk all about radiation. So that's a hot topic, I know, and always something that is of interest and some things to learn. So that's at 6 o'clock East Coast time. And then on the 15th, we're going to be doing a clinical trial update, and that I'll be hosting that one with our friends from ELORAC. So that is a anti-itch medication specifically for cutaneous lymphoma that's currently in phase 3 clinical trial. So we're going to do an update on that. So if you're interested in learning more about where that clinical trial is and what's happening, join us on the 15th. And then I think we're just rolling into the holidays and staying safe at home, probably. And we're working on next year's program. So if you have some ideas and things you'd like to see us cover or topics, just dash us off an email or let us know. So we'd love to hear from you. So with that, I'll also just say one more time, thanks to all of our donors and all the people that provide us with the support to be able to do these programs and to do all the things that we're able to do. And, you know, we are so very grateful for everyone's generosity. We couldn't do it without time, expertise, volunteers, and money. So really, thanks everybody. And thanks David and Laurel for joining me tonight and sharing a little bit about, you guys got a little taste of some of the folks on the board. We'll see if we can maybe bring on a couple of other board members along the way. You've met some of them. We have some clinicians on our board as well. So you've engaged with those. I try not to ask them to do too many things for us. You know, we like to have them doing our clinical programs. So with that, I think our time is up, and thanks again. And it's good to see everybody. I wish you all a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday if you're here in the States. And, you know, we'll do our best to stay safe and carry on through this crazy time.
Stay safe, everybody.
And yeah, it's really been great. Have a great night, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Take good care.
Bye.
See ya.